All right, we are going to go on and get started. My name is Heather Bardell. I'm your National Membership Director, and this webinar is for chapter sponsorship focusing on membership and funding. Our objectives for tonight's webinar will be identifying sponsors for your local projects. This will be when you're seeking either money or specific objects to make your chapter a success. So for example, a Christmas parade, you need like a float or something like that. Identifying sponsors for your local chapter. So let's say you're wanting to boost membership or just gain a base sponsor partner for your local chapter. How sponsorship can assist you with your membership goals, and how to identify sponsors to help you with those goals. And then funding, how to ask for the money for projects and or your local chapter. So first, identifying sponsors for your projects. The first thing you want to do is to accomplish what do you want to accomplish with your project. So you'll need to answer question number 2 for your PMG. So when you're filling out your PMG, that specific one is what are your goals? What are your 3 main goals that you want at the end of your project that you want to accomplish? Knowing what you want to accomplish will very much help you identify your sponsors, because the best sponsors that you can have with your projects are ones that want to also meet those goals in some capacity or are like-minded within the goals of your project. And then from there, have your committee identify 3 to 5 sponsors who would be interested in the goals you have set for the project. These could be businesses in your community, stakeholders in your community, maybe past members who own their own company, just any kind of sponsors that you know are interested in the goals that you've set for this specific project. And then put together information regarding your project, but you always want to be able to market your chapter. So have some information about your chapter, the goals you have set for your chapter for the year, because even if they may not be interested in this specific project, you could trigger some sort of partnership within another project or another area of your chapter. And then what the sponsor can expect in return. The sponsor's always going to also look for what's in it for them. And yes, a logo on a t-shirt is a great incentive, but really where can their market grow? How are you going to help boost their end results as well? So make sure you're doing research on a specific business or company or group that and know what their goals are and what they could possibly be seeking and how you can accommodate that goal. And then finally, set up the meeting with the sponsors. Sponsorship is similar to membership. You're going to get a lot of no's and a lot of I'm too busy or a lot of no return email or phone calls, but that you can't let that discourage you from from continuing to seek out sponsors, and even the same sponsors, even if you don't get an answer in return. Because like I said earlier, even if that one specific project or one specific set of goals doesn't intrigue that specific sponsor, something else could. So you always want to make sure you have other events readily available and other goals that your chapter have set for themselves. Keep in mind, this is a big picture item. You're marketing the, the longevity of your chapter, the sustainable solutions, the positive change you want to make in the community, not just specifically the goals for this project only. So identifying sponsors for your local chapter. Make a list of companies that have a like-minded mission and young active employees. So obviously if you have a mom and pop store where it's only 1 or 2 employees, where they have already aged out, yes, they may be a great sponsor for a project, but maybe not necessarily your local chapter. These are companies like Amazon or a bank, the chamber, something like that. These are the bigger companies that have multiple employees that are of age and are seeking, and they have maybe a requirement of how much they have to give back to the community, usually like the Verizons, the Best Buys, something like that. So that's your first key set of research. You don't just walk in there blindly. You always want this. There's a lot that goes into researching when you're seeking a sponsorship for a local chapter. Second, you want to make a list of what you have to offer these companies. You're going to want to make sure you have premier marketing material, not just a basic calendar of events. You want to make sure everything is branded properly, either through JCI or JCs, however you brand your local chapter or state, a premier marketing material, a full calendar of events with meetings and projects, the training opportunities you can offer, and pictures of you and your members having fun. Not you don't want to just paint the picture of all we do is have meetings and sit in trainings. You want to show them that you're a fun organization that has multiple opportunities for their employees. You have a network of not only just local events, but state events, national events, international events. You are a global network. That's something that a lot of key employers are looking for now, is how to get their name out there on a bigger scale, and you can offer that to them. Make sure you do your research on the company. What is their mission? What do you have to offer that no other organization has to offer? What is missing from their company that you can help fill? Maybe you can figure out someone that knows somebody that works there, and you can have like a one-on-one meeting with them before going into your big meeting. Do as much research as you can possibly can. Also, anticipate any questions they can ask and be prepared for it. This is obviously, if you don't know the answer, don't make something up, but this is the time where you really should try to know as many of the answers as possible when walking into a meeting seeking a sponsorship for your local chapter. And then make sure you know what you are seeking from them. Are you seeking a specific dollar amount to help offset some of the costs for for just projects in general? Are you seeking a membership amount? So for example, I went into a company in Greenville, South Carolina, and I was seeking 20 members, $500 sponsors for our state Toya event, if you will, and then in exchange, we were going to offer quarterly trainings to their employees and their information on our website and on the local and state level. So just make sure you know exactly what you want from them and be confident in that, and own that that's what you want, and you have the resources to give them what they need in return for what you are seeking. And then schedule a meeting with the executives of the company. These meetings from a chapter level should be with, at minimum, the local chapter president, probably a past chapter president, and maybe even a state officer. This is a time to really show your premier leadership and someone who can talk about the organization on multiple levels, because you're not only going to try to sell that you're a local organization wanting to make positive change in the community, but you're a part of a big picture. You're part of, hold on, I have a question. Give me 1 second. With identifying sponsors with your local chapter, would it be a good idea to share our information about the passport program? Absolutely. Another thing, when you're setting the tone for what you are seeking from them, when you're asking for, like, let's say you're wanting 25 members, and they say, well, what do you have to offer our members? Absolutely give them the passport form. This is the expectation that we set with our members, even if it's just the first phase of the degree program. Great question, Lisa. Always promote our programming, absolutely. And that's a great way to show them that we are well-rounded and we have well-rounded expectations of our members. Definitely take the passport program with you as part of your marketing material, yes. and that goes along with who is attending these meetings. They should be able to talk about the programming, talk about the organization as a whole. You're welcome, Lisa. Um, talk about the organization from top to bottom, the international events, the national structure, the opportunities at each level, and of course the state and local organizations. So how can sponsorship assist you with your membership? Ask for employee membership in your sponsor request. You should always be, even if you're just going for a local project, we have this local project coming up. We're looking for X amount of t-shirt sponsors. Oh, by the way, do you have any employees that are between the ages of 18 to 40? We would love to invite them. If you can afford it, maybe give them, if they give a certain amount of money in sponsorship, give them a discounted ticket price, or even give them a handful of certain amount of tickets for free to get those potential members at the event and seeing what you're doing firsthand. Make sure that make sure you have someone on your committee assigned to welcome your sponsors, especially your potential members through that sponsor. Specifically, answer any questions, show them around, make them feel very welcome and at home with at the project, and not overwhelmed or left alone to just kind of fend for themselves. On the committee, you should have somebody assigned to your specific sponsors, especially if they're bringing potential members. If you're asking for membership to be included in your sponsor request, make sure you can hold up your end of the deal. So if you say, yes, we offer these premier trainings, make sure that you can, number one, get the trainer to your local chapter, or you have specific skill sets. So I know there's chapters that do like resume building, job interviewing, any type of those individual development programming. Just make sure whatever you are promising them, that your local chapter can hold up that end of the deal. Don't overpromise. If you can't fulfill it, don't offer it. If the sponsor has employees between the ages of 18 and 40, that sponsor can assist you with membership. All you have to do is ask. Even if it's just if you're not comfortable specifically closing the deal, we talk about the different areas of recruitment. So you have your welcomer, your cheerleader, and your closer. If you're not a closer, just get them to an event and make sure that the person who is assigned to welcome them is a closer, or the group of people, one of them is a closer. This is a prime time to not only gain sponsorship, but gain membership and have them work hand in hand. Funding. How to ask for the money. This is the same way with asking for money with closing membership. It's not always comfortable, but it is absolutely necessary. So you have to know your brand, know your value, and your product, and be able to answer the questions. This is probably for more of our more seasoned members. Definitely, if you want to take a new member with you, I would not discourage that, but make sure that you have someone very comfortable talking about the organization from the top down. You have to remember, you're not only selling the local organization and your local projects. I actually had a conversation with a member of my own chapter just a couple weeks ago, and he was like, I just don't understand. They don't want to partner with just this project. And I'm like, well, you can't only talk about just this project. What is the mission of the whole organization? What are we trying to do as an organization? Sell the organization. That project is a piece of that mission, and they should want to be a part of that. So make it a big picture item. Use the Millennial Development Goals. Use our partnership with the UN as, a resource. We are looking to create positive change on a global scale, starting with this local project. You should want to be a part of that. So it's really about selling the entire organization, not just your one project. That one project is a piece of the puzzle. that you're allowing them to be a part of, and they should want to be a part of that. And then have a number in mind. You're going to set a hard goal, membership number in mind, and that you need from the sponsor, and why they should want to partner with you. Again, the big picture item. You are giving them the opportunity to be a part of something bigger. So not only are they going on your local chapter website or your local t-shirt or this, that, and the other, you're going to submit this project for a state award, and it's going to be recognized on a state level. You're going to submit this for a national award. It could be recognized on a national level, and they should want to be a part of that. And then just ask. You will get told no. There will be plenty of people who tell you, no, I'm just not interested in this. This isn't for me. But that's why you take more than one event with you. That's why you take your calendar with you. Maybe that one event just isn't for them. Maybe it's a bad timing. Maybe they just don't have the resources at that specific time, but they could later. So always, always, always make sure to have information on hand about other events. Maybe they're maybe this specific business. So like when I went and met with the business in Greenville, South Carolina, they were a international organization, and ultimately within 2 months that branch closed here in Greenville, South Carolina due to cutbacks, and everyone that wanted to keep their job had to move to Dubai. But that was part of what really drew them into our organization, was that we were international and that they were international. And had they stayed in South Carolina longer, we were going to look to expand that partnership more. We just ran out of time because they were closed down so quickly and unexpectedly here in South Carolina. So you just never know where the partnership could go if you bring all the information to the table. If you do not have the premier marketing material that we were talking about earlier, put some stuff together. You can send it to myself, Chief of Staff Justin, and anyone, maybe your MVP, and we can help you form and brand that marketing material. That's one of the tools that we have available here. Or if you have a local graphic designer in your chapter, and if you don't, put that on your prospect list. A local graphic designer can really help you with your branding and marketing to get you your premier marketing material that you need for sponsorship and funding for these types of events. Membership goals and how to identify sponsors. So like I said in your PMG, there's a list for 3 goals. You definitely want to have recruit blank members. Realistically set. Is it a large-scale project? Is it a medium-scale project? Small-scale project? You should always have a number tied to that for your PMG at each project. The key to successful long-term sponsor partnership is to be like-minded and to have similar goals. Never lose sight of those goals. Once those goals have been severed or they're no longer aligned and like-minded, then it's time to reevaluate that partnership. That doesn't make it a bad partnership. It's just time to reevaluate it if you're going to be a long-term partner. You have a network locally throughout the state, nationally and internationally, and they could be a part of that. So you want to identify sponsors who are looking to make that impact on the global scale, or at least on a state or national scale. And I'm not saying all sponsors will, but if you want to have a long-term partnership, offering our network is a very big value. So make sure to identify those types of sponsors. And then be confident when selling your product and what you have to offer. You are on this webinar and you do all the work you do because you are passionate about the organization. Share that passion with them. They will feel it and believe it and want to be a part of it if you are passionate and confident in what you're saying. If you ever need any kind of talking points, selling points, or just want to run by what you plan to say or talk about, please reach out to me one-on-one. How do you go about terminating the partnership? Is it a phone call followed up by a letter? How might that conversation go? Great question, Lisa. It depends on what kind of partnership you're in. If you have each signed a contract, then I I would look into what it takes to terminate that partnership based on the contract. If you have no contract and it's just a verbal agreement, then I would say an email and a phone call would suffice. And if they ask for more explanation, less is more. The partnership just isn't working out, isn't mutually beneficial anymore. We appreciate everything you've done in the past. We look forward to a future opportunity should they come up. Something very short and simple, but polite, so that if you do want to reevaluate and rejoin a partnership later, it's not done by burning a bridge in any way. Does that answer your question, Lisa? Yes, thank you. You're welcome. Yes, and when we are talking about partnerships, sometimes they do come to an end, but you want to make sure that it's ended properly, respectfully, to maintain the integrity of the organization and their organization at the same time. If it gets out of control, you know, that's when you could involve your state team to help you, or anyone to help you in that matter if you do need that. Um, these webinars are slowly becoming famous for only being 30 minutes long, which I think people appreciate. However, if you do have more questions, this is my email address. Some marketing material is online on the USJC's website. It is JCI and JC branded, so it is dual branded for both sides. So if you want to use any of that marketing material, or if you don't have any marketing material, I would start there. There's an entire section for marketing stuff. Again, if you want more specific marketing material, or you want to discuss rebranding because that's what's in the best interest of your chapter, please reach out to myself and Chief of Staff Justin, and we can definitely help you with the rebranding process. Your state president, your MVP, and anyone on the national any of the national team members. Are there any other questions? If not, I will stop the recording of this. This will be available tomorrow online. If you do have any questions, want to reach out to me one-on-one, please shoot me over an email, and I hope you all have a fantastic evening.